I'll never forget last Tuesday afternoon, trudging home from the grocery store, arms aching from heavy bags, only to spot my front door cracked open. My stomach dropped. Always saw lock that door. Always. Setting the bags on the porch, I nudged the door wider, ears straining for any sound. Then I heard footsteps creaking above in my bedroom, and a sharp voice muttering about violations and standards. My pulse hammered as I crept up the stairs, phone clutched tight, ready to dial 911. Nothing could have braced me for what I saw when I reached the bedroom doorway. There stood Linda Harper, the iron-fisted president of our homeowners association, wielding a measuring tape in one hand and snapping photos of my blackout curtains with the other. Her eyes met mine, and with the smuggest look I'd ever seen, she declared, "These curtains are illegal under HOA rules. Too dark. They're ruining the neighborhood's aesthetic harmony. You ignored my letters, so I had to inspect them myself." I was dumbfounded, watching this woman saw broken into my home, act like she owned it. When my wife, Emily, and I moved to Pine View Estates 6 months ago, we thought we'd hit the jackpot. Gorgeous houses, manicured lawns, the kind of place you'd see in a home decor magazine. But that perfection came with a price, and her name was Linda Harper. Early 50s, blonde hair styled to perfection, draped in designer outfits. Linda carried herself like she ruled every inch of this subdy VY shown. She showed up on our first day, armed with a hefty binder of HOA regulations and a smile that never touched her eyes. For 20 minutes, she lectured us on property values and community standards, stressing that she saw personally enforced every rule. Before Leah VYing, she handed us her business card. Linda Harper, HOA president and community standard coordinator, as if that was a badge of honor. The trouble started fast. First, a snarky note on our windshield complained our grass was a 1/4 inch too long. Then, Linda whined our mailbox was the wrong shade of black, despite it matching every other one on the block. When we planted roses in our front yard, she showed up at dawn with a soil pH kit, claiming certain flower colors were banned in spring. But the real drama kicked off when we swapped out our bedroom curtains. Our east-facing room got blasted by morning sun, making sleep impossible past dawn. Emily found these sleek charcoal gray blackout curtains online classy, understated, perfect. We hung them up, thrilled to finally sleep in. Big mistake. We just painted a target on our backs for Linda's most unhinged crusade yet. The very next day, I caught Linda on the sidewalk, snapping photos of our house with a fancy camera. When I asked what she was doing, she smirked and said she was documenting violations for the HOA board. Apparently, our curtains were too dark, clashing with the neighborhood's window treatment harmony. Over the next few weeks, her obsession spiraled. She'd cruise by our house multiple times a day, slowing to a crawl, glaring at our windows, camera in hand. Our mailbox started filling with bizarre letters, citing ever-changing HOA rules. One mentioned Section 14.3 of the Aesthetic Code. Another rambled about uniform window treatment guidelines requiring board approval for curtains. We tried reasoning with her, pointing out that blackout curtains were normal and that other houses had similar ones. Linda wouldn't budge. Our curtains, she insisted, were a problem because they faced the street, disrupting her precious VY Sewell flow. She suggested beige or white replacements to align with standards. Fed up, we took it to the HOA board, hoping for sanity. Nope. The board was Linda's personal fan club. At the meeting, she unveiled a slideshow on window treatment consistency, complete with photos of our house. Most board members nodded like drones, too scared to challenge her 8-year reign. One guy, an older man named George, timidly suggested the curtain issue wasn't worth the fuss, but Linda shut him down, warning that one violation could unravel the neighborhood's order. Things got worse. One morning, we found a formal violation notice taped to our door, threatening to law 50 daily fines unless we swapped our curtains within 72 hours. Legal consultations cost us thousands, only to learn HOA rules were vague and tough to fight. We were weighing our options when everything exploded. That Tuesday, I was at the grocery store when my phone pinged with a Ring camera alert motion saw our house. Emily was out, so that was impossible. My mind screamed, saw burglar saw. I ditched my cart and sped home, calling Emily to confirm she was safe. Pulling into the driveway, I saw our front door wide open, fresh scratches around the lock. I was about to call the cops when I saw her voice upstairs, ranting about standards and violations. Heart pounding, I climbed the stairs and found Linda in our bedroom, measuring our curtains like she lived there. She had a clipboard with forms, jotting notes on fabric density and light absorption. When she saw me, she didn't flinch. Instead, she launched into a lecture. I tried proper channels, but your defiance forced me to conduct a compliance inspection. As HOA president, I have the right to ensure standards are met. These curtains violate multiple guidelines. I told her she was trespassing and needed to leave. She laughed while VYing her clipboard, claiming our HOA agreement allowed necessary inspections. My refusal to comply, she said, justified her break-in for community welfare. That's when I dialed 911. The dispatcher sounded baffled when I mentioned our HOA president had broken in, but she sent officers. Linda overheard and started packing up, her smugness fading. When the police arrived, she tried playing the authority card, introducing herself as HOA president and showing them her clipboard of regulations. Officer Daniels, a calm guy who'd clearly seen it all, asked for legal proof of her right to enter our home. Linda fumbled, her stack of made-up rules suddenly worthless. Her face fell as she realized she had nothing. I pressed charges for trespassing and breaking and entering. As Officer Daniels cuffed her, Linda protested. "This is a misunderstanding. I'm protecting community standards." Neighbors spilled out to watch as she was led to the patrol car. The gossip spread like wildfire. Mrs. Larson across the street told me Linda once measured her hedges at 6 a.m. Mr. Patel said she'd climbed his fence to inspect his patio chairs. A Facebook group, Saw Pine VYEU Residents Unite Saw, popped up overnight, flooded with stories of Linda's invented rules and intimidation. It hit me we weren't alone in her crosshairs. Days later, the HOA board called an emergency meeting. The community room was packed with residents who'd never shown up before, all demanding answers. George, the board member who tried to defend us, took charge, announcing a re-VYEW of Linda's actions. At her court hearing a month later, Linda arrived with a lawyer and 3 binders of documented violations. She gave a speech on aesthetic consistency and HOA authority. Judge Thompson wasn't VYing it. He flat out said, no HOA rule justifies breaking into someone's home. Linda was convicted of unlawful entry and criminal mischief, slapped with 6 months probation and $2,000 in fines. That night, the board voted unanimously to oust her as president and ban her from any board role for 5 years. As George read the decision, Linda's face drained of color. She stormed out, silent for the first time ever. The neighborhood felt lighter after that. People started speaking up, no longer afraid of Linda's reign. But it left me wondering, how do these power-hungry types get so much control? Should HOAs even have this much power over our homes? What would you do if someone broke into your house over something as petty as curtains? And how far is too far when it comes to community standards? Drop your thoughts below. Hit that like button if this story got your blood boiling. And subscribe for more wild tales like this one.